This right here is a proper break and retest. It breaks above and it starts retesting this level of the highs, and then it goes continuing on to the next supply zone. Hey guys, it's Will. Welcome to the channel. I'm a part-time day trader trying to become a full-time. We are in week 3 of March. It is Thursday right now. Did not take any trades, and we still have one more day tomorrow, but I do want to show you guys my weekly progress for this week. We did lose a trade and we did also win a trade, so right now we are 50% on the week, but I am going to remove the filter, the privacy filter, and change it to dollar amount, and we are down $2. I wouldn't really say I am down, even though I am. I would say it's more of a break-even week, and I would like to take a trade, but I don't want to force a trade because I have to obviously make sure it's a quality setup. But if I don't get a trade, it is what it is. It is a break-even. It is a loss, a small loss of $2. My net P&L is slightly over $2. My trade win percentage is 50%. Profit factor is 0.89. Day win percentage is 50%. Average win to loss is 0.89. The first trade on Monday was a loss. It was a 22%, $18, and it was a short position. My second trade was a slight win, 20%. I should have definitely got a lot more. But first, I'm going to break down the first trade. Here is the 30-minute chart, and what I look for every day is a break and retest. And we always look for previous days. The previous day on the QQQ was 480 to 481.50, and what I was looking for is a break and retest over it. If the market was strong, then I'll look for a break and retest over that level and take it for a long. If it's weak, then I'll look for a short under this level right here, which is the 476, and that also lines up with the pre-market 476. I paired that up with other markets. It's the same thing with other markets, the same areas right here for the SPY, right here for the ES, and also for the Nasdaq, this zone right here. If it does break over those levels, then I'll take a break and retest long. If it's weak and it breaks under, then I'll take it for a retest short. This is my 30-minute time frame, but I did chart it off from the 1 hour, the 4 hours, and the 30 minutes and the 1 hour influence my chartings, the previous days, the intradays from last couple of days. And we see that this rejection of 480.50 was from last week, and we can see rejections up here, and we rejected again up there. So if it does break, I can wait for a retest long, and if it's weak, I have to wait for the previous lows or the pre-market lows, and that would be the 476 for a short. Going now into the 2-minute chart, this is the QQQ. We did open under the 480.50 and the 481.50, and we see rejections at the 481.50 right here. So initially it was at 480.50, but it did reject the 481.50 right here exactly, and I wanted to see a break above because this right here also aligned with the Nasdaq, and I do want to pair it up. But we can see that in the markets, when it did break above, it had a nice strong break, but it started retesting the level. It didn't really give me a proper retest. It just kind of fell back down, and I didn't want to take it. If I look at all the markets, we did break above in every single market, but the problem was that the ES was still under a major rejection, which was right here, and it just kept bringing the market down. There's multiple times in the day where I wanted to take the trade, but I knew that this rejection level was big and I couldn't take it long. Even though I didn't take a trade, I did have a level here on the ES as well, which aligned with the SPY level. So these levels aligned, but it kind of messed up. The contracts changed and my levels are a little different from when I was actually trading. I had the level at 5,700. We can see that there's holds over here at the 564. There's holds the whole day, and it also aligned with this pre-market high on the ES, and we can see holds right there, holds here. And what I was looking for was a break and retest short. If it breaks under that level, then I can short it. We see later day that it does start breaking the level, but normally I don't take it like that. I like a strong break, usually around $1, $1.50, and then it starts retesting the level slowly, and then it gives you the confirmation, it starts rejecting, and then I'll take it. This right here is not really a strong break. It's not really making me confident in taking that trade, so I did not take that trade. You can see that it did get bought back up. Later day, it did fall down a lot more, and that's when I was getting more interested in taking a short because it did have a stronger break. And then it started slowly retesting the level, and then I decided to take a short around this where my green arrow is right here. But it was strong. I tried it and it looked like a good retest, but it was not continuing. I thought it was a good trade. I only lost about 20%. It was a valid loss and I was happy about the loss, but I understood why I lost that trade. This is a SPY 30-minute, and I had the level on 564 is because it had holds right here, it had rejections right here, rejections, general rejections here, and then we had this wick rejection right here, and it also aligned with the pre-market. That's why it was at 564. But we can also see majority of the highs on the previous day was right over here, which was probably the 563. or 562, and the market did hold around that area right here. Going into that trade, I was like, I don't know how far it can go, and that's probably the reason why I shouldn't have taken the trade, is because I'm trying to short it once it breaks to 564, but I'm shorting it into the highs of the previous day, which that is probably why I lost that trade. If it did break this low right here, that's what I'll be more confident in taking a short right here, retest, short, and that will be the short play. Now I'll show you guys the live trade. Going to the next day, Tuesday, I only won $16 and I was up a lot more, but I did not make the profits that I should have. I only won 20%, which was only $16, and I for sure won at 3-1 in this trade. This is the 30-minute on the SPY, and I do change my level to the 563 of the previous day because it did hold the highs of the previous day, which was the Friday from before. This right here is a proper break and retest. It breaks above and it starts retesting this level of the highs, and then it goes continuing on to the next supply zone. Since this 563 is the low of that level, I would draw a box. I would draw a box like this, and if we open up in this area right here, I'll look for a break, a retest of the highs, the 570 and a long right there, and if it's weak, I'll wait for a breakdown and retest and short of the box. Now going into the 2-minute charts of where I trade, I did have levels on my QQQ as well. Even though the 563 started breaking down, it wasn't really a strong break and it started retesting pretty early, and I did not really take that short right away. It's because I also look at the QQQ, I look at the Nasdaq as well. My low on the QQQ was 476 and the 19750 on the Nasdaq. I did have this small level here that I could take a retest over there as well and short it, but I know that the lows on the Qs was the 476, so then I waited for the retest. I waited for that breakdown, and then it started retesting this level right here. It started retesting, and that's when I took my short position. And we can see that I did get about like 70%, 60% around down here, but I was trying to hold out for this 559 down here. And then once it started getting bought back up, I was like, damn, I should have locked in my profits there. Why did I sell? But this time I'm trying to wait for the bigger picture. I'm trying to wait for the demand zones. So my mind is playing games with me. I did get a good risk reward, but I was hoping to get the 559 on down here. Even though it got to this 559 like an hour later, it did get a little lower, but still didn't get to the 468 zone. But it did get to the Nasdaq zone that I had over here. I shouldn't even have gotten out because it did not break back above the 476 or this Nasdaq level over here. I also had to go to work. I can't just hold all day. I don't want to be in my position when I'm at work. If I was able to scale out contracts, then I would have scaled it around here and then tried to hold a runner until this lower here, because I always believe that it can get to that point, but I'm just not willing to hold. And also your psychology gets really affected once it starts getting back up. You start being back to red, even though when you're in a good profit. I don't look at my P&L when I trade, but I only look at it after when I'm about to get out of my trade. And your mind really plays tricks with you, because you might just think you lost a trade when you're in a good trade, and I don't know. But if your stop loss hasn't gotten out, then you should even have gotten out. You can see right here, there's multiple rejections here. It never gets back above, and you can sit in that profit. You can sit until your profit target hits. Right here is the 2-minute charts on the QQQ. I do want to check out the short position and see the profit or the calculator. So I'm gonna take this out and I'm gonna drag this to 476. I put a little over 476 because I do give it a little time, and my risk was about probably around 50 cents. So it did get it in right here. If I sold out here, then yes, it would have been a 4-1. We can see right here 3.98. It's basically a 4-1. And when you guys see the live recordings and when you guys see my past videos, I always tell you guys my 2-1 is at 60%. It's usually more than that. It's because it really depends on the risk, and it really depends on your entries and exits. If I really look at the risk reward, then it will be a 4-1. This risk would have been around 20%, but in the past I'll be risking sometimes 30%, which that's normal for me. It's hard to say that I'm average is 30%, but normally I just say it's average 30%. But every trade is different, and sometimes I get really close to my zone right here. I get close to my risk, and sometimes it can be a lot higher than 3-1. It can be, look right here, 7-1. It's not always going to be like that. I just say an estimate of my risk will be usually a 2-1 if it's 60%. It really depends on the trade. And now I'll show you guys the live trade. So Wednesday and Thursday, I did not take a trade, but I do want to break down Thursday a little bit. Wednesday was FOMC. There was no volume until like 2:30. Thursday, there was a setup, but did not get a quite confirmation on there, so I did not take it. 575 zone on the ES is pretty big. We can see rejections right there. And then once we finally broke above, we did a nice retest and you got long there. The next day, rejections again, but when we got back up, you can see right there, there's holds right there. This 57.25 is a pretty big zone. And if I go to the 2-minute time frame, we did break above this level right here, but we did not really get a retest close to that zone. You can see that it's retesting up here, and then later it goes all the way up to the next supply zone, and then it gets rejected right there. You could take it for a short, but I don't really like taking it like that. This is why sometimes you take plays early, because the play can always happen without you. You can always just take small sides, and if it goes down more, then that's when you can average if you're comfortable in taking that play. But I normally don't do that, so I just don't even take the play at all. But I know some people, they take a average position, they take a small size, and then once it gets closer to the zone, if it does get closer to that zone, then they'll average more in, and then they'll get more confident if there's more confirmation. If they take this small position and it fails them, then they lose a small amount, but they're not going to take their whole size because that they know that the risk is a bit higher than normal. And if they do, then they're just going to lose a lot more. So that's why they have risk management. That's why they take smaller size. So I am down $2. We don't know if I'll take a trade tomorrow, but so far this is my week. Break even, basically. And what I like to say is, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Keep staying disciplined, keep staying consistent, and let's just get 1% better every day. And I'll see you in the next one.